The distinguished gentleman who serves as our conference chairman, Mr. Pence, who has been a leader on behalf of the unborn and all human rights around the world. Mr. Pence.
I thank the gentleman for yielding, and I would ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks, Mr. Speaker.
Action.
I thank the distinguished gentleman from New Jersey for his moral leadership, not only organizing this discussion tonight among our cherished colleagues, but for a lifetime of standing in the gap on behalf of the defenseless. I commend Chris Smith, and to no less extent his wife, for their work on behalf of the unborn. Mr. Speaker, I come to this chamber cognizant of the fact that tens of thousands of Americans will brave the elements tomorrow, as they do every year, on what will be the 36th anniversary of the worst Supreme Court decision since Dred Scott. I bristle at the term anniversary because in my life, anniversaries are special things. We remember them at fondly remembered occasions, and this is certainly not the case. This is the annual marking of that decision which 36 years ago tomorrow nullified all of the hard thought and hard fought bills and legislation over 100 years at the state level that put restrictions on the abortion of unborn children in Roe versus Wade. It is accurate to say that life is losing in Washington, D.C., both in our judiciary, among a pro-abortion majority in the House and Senate, and now with the election of a pro-abortion president of the United States. But let me say with confidence that while life may be losing in Washington, D.C., I believe life is winning in America. Despite the best efforts of the pro-abortion movement to defend abortion on demand, more Americans embrace the sanctity of life today than ever before, especially younger Americans. While more than 50 million innocent human lives have been ended by abortion since Roe versus Wade, I'm happy to report, Mr. Speaker, that abortions have declined by nearly 20% in the last 15 years. That actually figures out to be more than 881 lives saved per day, each a poignant reminder of why we can never relent in the defense of life. Now, there are many theories about why attitudes are changing about the sanctity of life in America. Some people believe that moments like this on the floor of legislative chambers have their good effect. And I'd like to believe that, but I'm not really sure that I do. Some think it's about political activism and people organizing and communicating. And while that plays a role, I'm not sure that it's changing attitudes in America. And even some, much more plausibly, believe that that legion of organizations across the country that fall under the heading of crisis pregnancy centers, or organizations that come alongside young women with unwanted pregnancies and provide them with the resources and a message of hope and encourage them to choose life, are changing hearts. And I'm much more prepared to believe that that's true. But I actually believe in my heart of hearts that what's changing in America today is happening in the quiet counsels between mothers and daughters, between grandmothers and granddaughters, women who themselves were victimized by abortion, I believe are telling the most cherished younger women in their lives the truth. And attitudes are changing across kitchen tables and over coffee in living rooms. And that's why I believe that life is winning in America. But that doesn't obviate the need for us to take action here on Capitol Hill, and action we will take. Not only as we prepare to respond to what may be an imminent executive order upending one of the most popular restrictions on foreign aid in recent American history. There are rumors, Mr. Speaker, that the so-named Mexico City policy will be overturned by our new president, and we prepare to make the case on behalf of American taxpayers and on behalf of pro-life Americans of the wrongness of that decision if it comes to pass. We also prepare ourselves in the legislative process to both defend and advance the cause of life. Just moments ago, with 63 original co-sponsors, I reintroduced legislation that I brought to this floor in the last Congress, the Title X Abortion Provider Prohibition Act. It comes as a surprise to many to learn that the largest largest recipient of non-abortion federal taxpayer dollars through Title X is the largest abortion provider in America. Most Americans don't realize that. Let me say that again, that the largest recipient of federal funding through Title X is the largest abortion provider in America. Now, Planned Parenthood, that recipient, will be very quick to say that, well, no, Title X can't go to providing or promoting abortion services, and that is certainly true, but it doesn't change the fact that the largest abortion provider in America is also the recipient of literally tens of millions of dollars in federal taxpayer money that go into their non-abortion related activities. Our legislation, reintroduced today with broad support, and in the last Congress, co-sponsored by nearly 200 of our colleagues, would restrict any federal family planning funds from going to organizations like Planned Parenthood who perform abortions on demand or for any reason. And I urge my colleagues to support this measure. With this, I close. I believe that life is winning in America because there's a moral reawakening on this issue that's happening in the quiet councils of the home and the workplace and in faith communities. But that doesn't change the fact that we must take the stand on this floor, on the National Mall tomorrow, and in all of our communities on behalf of the unborn. It would be William Wilberforce who said famously of his long, multi-decade struggle against the scourge of slavery. He said, quote, "Never, never will we desist till we extinguish every trace of this bloody traffic, of which our posterity, looking back to the history of these enlightened times, will scarce believe that it has been suffered to exist so long, a disgrace and dishonor to this country." Close quote. Strong words, but I believe they're words that resonate with the conscience of a nation. America is great because America is good. And at the very center of the American experiment is the belief in the value and the sanctity of every human life. And until we restore that principle to the very center of the rule of law in this nation, we risk the ongoing vitality of the American experiment. I believe it with all my heart. And I yield back to the gentleman, and thank